Take out the papers and the trash. Yeah, let's take out the trash. Battle. I want to do one of these battles with someone. I'm gonna whoop your ass, whoever you are now. Take out them toters and we're notifying viewers. They're notifying viewers. Ooh. Why is it always an unstable connection? Who does lives on here? Ben X417. Do you do lives? And does it? Yeah, good connection. See, I can get down with a good connection. I can get down with a good connection over here in the UK, Londinium. But then it's gone unstable connection. So why does it say that? Is it because a lot of people all over the world are using up their bandwidth or something? What is it? What am I looking at? Take out them papers in the trash. Maca green tea. Loose leaf tea from the Japanese Centre in Leicester Square, London. It cost 13 quid. I paid 13 quid for tea. See, I'm one of those people who deserve the finer things in life, and I think I'm one of them. But on a universal credit benefit income, it's not really viable, suitable for oneself. And I just went over to some manifesting thing on the other channel. Some famous person that's got billions. She said the first thing she saw when she put on TikTok was manifest talk. And she said she followed a lot of the formula in the TikTok training boot camp for manifesting your millions. Now, somebody like myself who thinks I've got viable songs to record, I just need like that ginger bloke, whoever he is. That ginger bloke that everybody likes. Forget his name. Yeah, just need him to like do a little collab. Just like get one song up there. And you know, then you're done, innit? And I can take it from there. Once you've got some money, then you can just get on with it. And you can just get your own little studio. And get your own little person to help you do your shit. But, you know, because people that go on about musicians and shit, I always thought they were the classy people of the world. I thought they were the best, sort of, you know, a little bit of snobbery that goes with it, maybe. Like spiritually mastered individuals that feel like they somehow have the right to preach to other people in the fact that they've got a sort of a mind and soul and a heart that appreciates the universe and its music and then communicates with noise and words. You know, it's kind of like a privilege, isn't it? Clearly. Because I have like a YouTube channel and there's quite some good work on there. Laura Rickner or Lardy Dancier, and copyright, all rights reserved and all that. I wrote this off the back of being in a prison cell. I was arrested on my holidays for nothing in particular. They tell me it was a birthday card. Yeah, so when you start getting that kind of attention from the Met Police of the UK, you know you're onto a winner. Do you know what I'm saying? And the doctor come into the cell and she says, choose yourself. Just choose yourself when you get out of this cell. Choose yourself. Don't think about these people. These people on a wage are like fucking hyenas. And I was like, she's the nicest doctor I've ever heard. Choose yourself is what the doctor said when the whole joint's trying to burn me. 48 hours caged, motherfuckers, questioning my mental health. See, I'm reborn, I'm stealth. Tired of the negligence, tired of the disrespect, tired down to my soul. See, think that theirs must belong to the man below, if they could treat the God-fearing soul. And repeat for the chorus. Waste man, it's not me that's damned. You should try and make you understand. Do what you love, not what a cult of industry told you. Have the whole world folding on you. You being told, serve No one. Sun, cold, cursing, perceiving, believing in, persecuting the innocent. This love machine is making meteor impact dent. Justice begun, got my switched on guns. I'm rewriting the injustice, performing it for fun. I walk out that cell, child, do well. Dealt with a bunch of dunces, dish they wish, they jump off the beep wage. I'll buy you out, DC. This one, it makes sense to leave old delusional perceptions, perceived dominations that grieve nations. See, God-fearing can see right into the heart of me, the centre G. Why you had audacity to lie about this superfly, you got to kiss your whole way of life goodbye. Shut that, ho, not your doll. Take, thieve, deceive, DC. I am society. I am society. You want that in custody? Well, it isn't cost free. I am free. Utmost glee. Tired of the negligence. Tired of you loving it. Tired of the disrespect. Tired down to my soul. Getting this raw. One day this is going to be at the O2. I'm going to do this at the O2. Maybe with Snoop Doggy Dogg and the Niggers with Attitude. That's a record label before you go reporting me. NWA, you heard of it, right? Yeah, okay. Once I got accused of being racist for saying I like the NWA, but I said the full name, and someone's like, oh my gosh, he's amazing. I thought, oh my god, like you can't appreciate black people as artists in a stupid borough like this, where people are a bit hicks backward, they don't like rap. They don't listen to rap, see, to demographics of people. I don't really generally always listen to rappers like up there, because people say rap music is an energy, and if you have consumed all of the rap, maybe that's why shit happens in your life, because I'm no criminal, but I'm getting treated like one, for whatever reason. And heaven's backed fact, in his name Jesus, no lack, inhumane tax stacked all odds in my favour, so thank you Flavor Flav, saviour, just doing my job. They all look so shamefaced as well. It's like, but you're not, are you? Investigate the investigation if it don't make no fucking sense. Disassociative ill behaviour, independence from the systematic depravity. I crave it for all of your real liberty and your one jar, haha. All minorities add up to the hordes, so get just rewards. Parents' rents, they sign me over as they do the entire population of people. And Mars, that's your birth cert, slavery. Success abundance is the only self-made empire. Oppressor wire try to still thieve our majesty with total violations of our privacy. Piracy dire, acting of their own victimless volition. Harassed, abused by uniforms when I'm on a mission. Wage crazy makes you stronger. Stop using the system program, stupid old dears. Fear's crutch not to be relied on or touched. Bad vibes in the low vibration. That which preaches to kiddies to self-justify in schools, FYI. So that's like a masterclass in rap, and where artists are coming from when they're persecuted and they start to see that these people are crooked and probably have investors, outside interests of industrial, that just get at someone. And then you're sort of looking at that is the evolution of slavery. Like all those artists, like Juice WRLD, what happened there? What happened there? What happened there? Weird shit, you know, at play in circles, art circles, music circles, industrial circles, using the law system unlawfully, circles. I don't know how it's going to pan out. I've got a bail date, but I already turned up to it, and they said, we moved it to October. It's like, you arrested me coming back from fucking Venice last year. I'll keep going on about it, because I'm traumatised. It does traumatise you. And you're like, I turned up to the bail, the fucking DC wasn't there, you left it on the system. What are you doing at? What are you playing at? I'm on holiday and you're fucking doing it again. Reckless endangerment in the back of a paddy wagon, you know, getting smashed against the wall with no fucking seatbelt. They don't give a fuck. It's like, and then you ask law societies and GT stewards and people like that and all these solicitors, you're saying, could you represent me? And they're like, oh, we've got too much on our hands at the moment. What the fuck is actually going on in the world, really? There you go. I can't be bothered to watch the screen anymore. Can't be bothered to watch the news, because the news is just scripted, really. When you look at it, it's like, what are they actually presenting to you? When this happens or that happens, what actually are they presenting? I don't think you can appreciate it until you actually go through it. I'd like to think that some of them stories are so fake, and some people, I don't know. And yeah, when they keep arresting you and asking you if you're happy for 48 hours in the cell, and you're saying, what they went for? For a birthday card? You fucking crazy bastards. And they're like, do you want to see a psychiatrist? Would you like to be on meds? You're like, that's the height of fuckery, isn't it, really? Because, as the lyrics say, they literally rob you off the street, they kidnap you, they thieve you, deceive you, and they hold you for 48 hours for a birthday card, and then they call that birthday card harassment, and you're like, you're intimidating, harassing me to an inch of my fucking life, causing alarm and distress, and you have the audacity to do that, say it's about a birthday card. One finger. But yeah, it's quite terrifying. Anybody gone through any shit like that? Anybody know anything about, Jackhole 51? And I used to think people that were involved with the police were bad. I used to think that. We're so brainwashed, don't we? Oh my god, you must be a bad person. You've been arrested. Oh my god. I used to be such a snob, really, when I look at it. I think people are brought up thinking so black and white, stay inside the lines. But, it's all just one big con, isn't it, the Western world? And that's what I jumped on here to talk about. It being one big con. Because, yes, manifestation, it is your birthright to be abundant and wealthy and free and liberated from it. Your shackles, let all your shackles be loose. When I went to Glastonbury, I was at the back in the TP village. I stayed there a week after, and they were playing, there's the Mo mantras, the man, mo. He was doing the man, mo mantras. I am a big strong tree, let all your shackles be loose. There's certain sort of spell-binding stuff in words, and when you start using words, you start to realise that. And part of manifesting is understanding, yes, the energy behind words. Like, there's a word that I don't use. I try not to use words with the word construct, constraint, consistency, con. Because, by definition, con is like to fool, to deceive. And someone said that the English language, since Babel, has been moving away from its basic things, and getting farther removed from sort of humanity, really. And when you look at COVID storylines and all that stuff, I just don't want to know, because it's one step too far. Because when I was at school and they forced vaccines on kids, and like chickenpox and shit, you get all the vaccines and then you still get chickenpox, and they're like, well, yeah, but you don't get it as bad because your body's been introduced to it a little bit. Whatever. It is what it is. Like, some people, they love all that shit. But I'm like, I don't live life through a microscope. I could just call it shyster industrial. And that's my choice. And it's disgusting that New Yorker fucking jumped on that bandwagon. Can't go to an event, can't go here, can't do that. But even though they say all that on the news, they're not actually doing it in person anywhere. So it don't really matter. It's up to you. And Islamists, all them people, Allah, I don't believe in it, don't want it. They don't challenge them. So it's like, why does it dominate in some little areas and demographics and cults around? I'd say, like, I'm an average family home. They don't even smoke a spliff. My parents never even tried any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they're just like, certain demographic, innit? Bring me back to why I would come on here, because, yeah, fear. Living in fear beats living liberated. Because I say my mum is a prime. They say your mum is how you experience the world, your relationship with the world. Is this true? Think about it. Your mum. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? My mum's a little bit OCD-ish. And so it's like that. Fear. Even if you're getting a cab to your doorstep, where's the fear? But, where's the anxiety coming from? Where's the OCD? That kind of thing. Microcosm of a macrocosm. And I was saying, I want to make basically a social worker franchisee brand. I keep always talking about it when I jump on here, because the implications are monumentally massive to lower working middle classes, to free them and make sure they all have a better quality of life, right? Its implications of it are massive. Like, imagine Air Force One on the street. Mercedes, with a washroom in the back, and you can get a spare kit. And you can be taken to the spare room projects in the Big Issue, because loads of houses signed up to the Big Issue to give it to homeless people if they've got a night on the street. Imagine a brand you can just approach and go, sort me out. Whether it be one night, 2 nights, or whatever. Because I know there are families that struggle, and they keep people in this fear vibration, like, oh, family's all you got. But if you were trying to make a better community, one that's a bit more brave, maybe, fearless, like, these people are registered with Big Issue. If you have a worker that can act as a link in the street level, bosh. Bosh, 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 bosh. It's an engineer, a social engineer. They've got the person database and they can be like, yeah, bosh. The person is the job. And they can take the person to the Big Issue. Because I made a Kickstarter for it a decade ago, made £14, but it was shit. It wasn't detailing everything that needs to go into it, because since then I met Choir with No Name, Streetwise Opera, Cardboard Citizens, Crisis, and Mungos. There's so many homeless charities out there, it's ridiculous. And you can go and get a meal probably like 5 days a week if you knew what you were doing, walking around London. You could actually, it's quite a viable place. There's a place you can have a shower, right next to Leicester Square. Not many people know that, but it's just next to Leicester Square. It's got showers in it, and you can get all your feminine products and deodorants and shit, so people actually know what they're doing, all switched on. You can actually be homeless, and actually there's a lot of weird, crazy ass people about that actually choose that as a lifestyle because it's free. It's in the hub of the city, it's in London. You can get a shower, you can get your products, you can do what you want and stuff, and people chuck a tent over the Soho Park and sleep there and shit, all sorts. Anyway, well, yeah. But so that was why I invented for in the first place. But then after that I was like, shit man, it's got far-reaching implications, because you could use those as fixed abode. And the way it makes money is it's got advertising space in the van. It's got a novelty donation point the kids can throw money in like it's a basketball net. And you can canvass like charities, other charities, so it'll have a massive pot for passports to get fixed abodes addressed for those homeless people. And I thought what would be really good is you could get people doing MVQs and just pay for their flight, so they can go woofing and fruit picking. Bigger community, do you know what I mean? Like, so it's not all about money all the time. You're like, people that are rich, privileged people, get to travel all over the world and get to have a great time, don't they, with their money in their pockets on their yachts and their shit. And with this COVID shit, I really bit. It was like, motherfuckers are jet setting, going fucking doing what they want, presenting us with that pokes on the fucking screen, and I'm getting arrested at airports, motherfuckers. But Airbnb, by the way, Venice, very nice, never been to Venice. I've ticked off all the romantic destinations on the fucking bucket list. Single, bummer, still single, match make this mug. And then, yeah. So the point is, that's how you mobilise people. You can get them woofing all the way to Australia, all over these places that do camps and stuff, and MVQ, little MVQs and bosh, 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 just picking people up, lifting each other. And I also realised, thanks to TikTok's been a big eye-opener, massive eye-opener, because you have loads of people that believe in alternative medication. You see people on TED Talks, people that have had totally terminal cases and stuff that the NHS give up on like that. I've met people that they just give up on, and it's like, nah, you've had a couple chemo bosh done, and it's like, this, you see TED Talks, and there's a solution for everyone. This guy got his mum on wild turkey mushroom, if you believe the guy. He's a mushroomologist, and these little entities that have been on the earth since the beginning apparently got solutions to neurology and cannabinoid systems and all this ancient old medicine and stuff that's all gone and been replaced by a giant conglomerate cancer-grabbing cancer. The only thing we're really fighting is the government, and that's probably why I keep getting arrested, because I'm very articulate. Anyway, this guy gives his mum his turkey tail, and bosh, there's a solution for her. Now, when there's a difference between doctors within an industrial construct, and a medicine woman and a medicine man, and people that are going to look at each individual case of things going wrong. Like, when it comes to diabetes, you can kickstart your pancreas by fasting and doing whatever, but they'd rather put your meds pill popping for the rest of your life. We've become very dumbed down over the decades just to sort of like live comfortably, as they call it. And it's just sedating everyone. Basically, we're just getting sedated because you have to get a job and you've got all these concerns and worries. You ain't got time to even look after yourself. Such bollocks, isn't it? And so when you go around to festivals, obviously you meet your tribe, you meet your people, which is all of us. We are all connected more so with the TikTok. And the TikTok's taught me that. Because it's basically an example of an intranet, isn't it? It's the internet. And if you had an engineer out on the street presence with it, that has the database of people that are willing to help, guess what you could do? Solution between Bupa and the NHS. Nice big middle ground with a database where people can flourish. And that's what the government's worried about, because they're losing their grip a little bit. And it's only a money pot. Just look at the world like a big leprechaun's pot of gold, and everybody's been kept down and fearful by, well, the police are a big part of it. Like, they do their job, and they go get criminals that do bad things, supposedly. But when you have an interaction with them, you start to go, like, what actually are you fucking about? In my case, in 2016, I was at a Unity march, and I was making my way home, lone woman, vulnerable, a bit tipsy. And then someone starts harassing me, starts intimidating me, starts harassing and intimidating me, and then starts provoking me with, how do you fancy spending the night in a cell? Like, you were actually threatening to kidnap a drunk woman. Yes, that's what they're doing. So I verbally assaulted the man, verbally, viciously assaulted the person, and said exactly what I thought. And then I spent 24 hours in a cell. That's unheard of, isn't it? Normally you just get that night in the drunk tank. Not me. They tested me for Class A drugs. I ranted so well. And then they sent me to court for it. And in court, it was like, how do you plead? They say, I just plead guilty, because you'll only get a slap on the wrist. I was like, right, guilty. It was diminished in court to might have offended a member of the public, because drunken disorderlies don't go to court, right? So, it might have offended a member of the public in court, because that's what they knew. They were taking the piss out of my life, basically. Taking the piss out of your life. So I said guilty, and I got a year's suspended sentence. And it went down on my CRB as racial, religious, aggravated harassment and intimidation, causing alarm and distress. I was like, fucking hell, really? I was at Unity March. I wasn't actually involved in the Unity March. You can see it. I'm just like going around in the Yellow High-Vis just filming stuff. But obviously Yellow High-Vis might have got their attention, and they thought, well, we'll get our hands on this one. Get a dirty little filthy mitts all over it and put that on your CRB. So you'd be scared to travel anywhere. Probably why I got arrested coming back from Venice, because I'm a religious hater or some shit or whatever. I love all religions. I was taught circular religion at primary school. Literally know more about Rama and Zeta and Rishna and all of them than anybody going. So that was bollocks. And it made me lose all faith in the justice system, basically. And as you can see in that, I like to believe that people can just see the obvious when they see the obvious. And if I'm telling you we live in a shyster society with shyster police force, the Met Police anyway, that's just depraved. That's like Londinium gone wrong. That's the draconian depravity. That's just like perversion all over your entity. So fuck with someone's ability to get a job. What are you doing? I couldn't go back. I mean, most like employers, I got an SIA badge, as I say. They renewed it, but I was worried that they wouldn't. But they did. And yeah, so that was some sort of thing. But once you're in the system, it's just like they think they can take liberties over you. Like literally, like during COVID, they've just gone fucking ape shit or something. I just don't know what to do about that. Any advice on that, anybody? I know it is crazy snow moon creations, you know. So I'm saying proper mental. But at the same time, it's like I feel like I'm in good stead because I've got supervisory experience at the O2 used to work closely with the police. So I'm like, I'm taking it with a pinch of salt. But at the same time, nobody wants to be in a fucking cell for 48 hours. Because it's not nice. It's just not fucking nice. You don't want to eat in them places. You're like, I don't know, I feel sometimes, in some cases, certain people, I do feel like it's an industrial thing. It's a long story. Tell you something else crazy, moon person. Snow Moon Creations. In 2019, I was just coming through traffic, giving somebody that I just met at a festival, trust no one, coming through traffic in London, and police cars coming through, woo, 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 woo. So what you have to do is just a mirror signal manoeuvre, and then this Toyota, it's got loads of dents on it already, making a manoeuvre, it just touches me at the side, because I'm like, what the fuck, did I just touch something? Anyway, this girl in the car that was giving a lift, she's on it, and she's taking the picture of the number plate, and and I'm like, I was just like busy, sort of like going, oh no, police. After that, you know how I feel about police. I'm like, ugh. And then she proceeded to ghost me. Oh, this is the person that I got arrested for sending a birthday card, because the penny did drop eventually. I was like, was she a plant? Why did I just meet a plant at a festival? Was that an industrial plant? Am I being gotten at by an industrial plant and the police force? Is that what's happening this year? Is that what it is? Because it's like, as far as I'm concerned, this girl, I found out, she told me she was in the mental health system herself. She sectioned herself because she had extreme anxiety and other things. So when she ghosted me and slammed the door, I was like, what the fuck's that? Should I carry on writing to her? Try and make a difference? Because I know her for about a month. I was like, well, if she's got extreme anxiety and she's behaving like a lunatic and I can't make head or tail of it, I'll just write a letter. And then it's like, yeah, when I was arrested, coming back from Venice, I was drunk, getting on the plane, drank loads of red wine. So I noticed every time that I do get arrested, I'm drunk. And you're like, is that a coincidence, or do they just use that because you're vulnerable at the time? And it's like some sort of compromising substance that they just abuse themselves. And do you know this person? I was like, yeah. Well, we're locking up to protect a vulnerable adult, it says. I'm like, protect? That would imply threat. And then you're showing me that as a letter. What's that? And it was during COVID, so the duty solicitor was on the phone, headphones. I'm like, put you in a little box and you're talking to someone over the headphones. And it sounded like she was playing Mario Brothers in the background. And she was going, I said, yeah, but this is what happened. And she should have just sent a fucking email. And that's like wasting police time. It's abuse of the justice. And it sounded like, when he hits the coins. And I'm going, this is weird. This is fucking strange, this. And then you're in the interview room and he's going, and he looked all shifty in his seat, this person. And I was going, is he even a real DC? Or has the film industry rented out Bexley cells? I'm like, this ain't for fucking real, is it? And the whole time that I was in the cell, 12 hours, I just felt like I was in Venice still. Anybody that's been there, you're just on a boat permanently. I was just like, And I just literally finally just started to sort of like come round when they let me out. And I was just like, I feel like I'm in a different planet. Walking like, imagine getting arrested at the airport, plain clothes shit and everything. I was in the back of the car, I slipped my hand out of the cuff as well. Skinny motherfucking weird. I think that made them laugh. But yeah, so that was that, and that was that. And then, obviously, after my bail was up for 3 months, I turned up, he didn't even turn up. So I think that they left it in the system. I says to, yeah, fucked up. It's like, I think I'm in a state of shock permanently as well, because when I go out drinking sometimes, I'm like, did someone just say that? I was sitting outside the Belushi's on my own, reading a book on my first drink. I swear someone said, the bloke went, call the police and tell her that she's had too much. And I shit my pants. And I didn't shit my pants, I'd just finished my drink anyway, so I was leaving. But the point is, I was scared to stand at the bus stop. They got you acting like sketching yourself, and then they wonder what's mental health, they say. I say, oh, it's fucking society. Make sure you're not surrounded by arseholes, isn't it? Because that's wasting police time. She should employ email, get her mum to send one, or her brother to send one. And if that don't work, then the police, they're supposed to do things like give a warning, I think, if you find. Follow an escalation procedure before fucking going around traumatising their citizens and shit. But I seriously had enough of it. And I've got another bow date, and I turned up to it already, and they say move to October. I'm like, oh, fuck, you shouldn't go, innit? I need some advice on this, because people say do not go, because the more you give them, the more they just keep taking the piss. Do you know what I mean? So any advice on this, I do need advice. Because they got the audacity to hand you this piece of paper that says Human Rights 101, number 7 on it, understanding why you've been arrested. I'm like, why? Understanding why you're being detained. Why? And every time you answer it, you're like, why? Why? I know this is this is an education, but I feel like the more I talk, the more people learn. Because I used to perceive things in a certain light, but the wiser you get and the more adept you get, you're like, yeah, you perceive it all differently. And the worst part about it was, I said, this is so insidious. The way you are wording that, it says to detain, to work out how to, there's a word, dispose of. The fuck is that? So basically, how to dispose of. I said, that's really fucking sinister wording on your piece of paper. Dispose of, motherfuckers. Do you know what I mean? And then they wonder why they say, oh, people don't demonise the feds. It's not that you're demonising a person doing a job. Like, fair play to you, get a job, everyone needs a job. No, I actually don't believe that. I would never do it. I said, it's not in my nature to do what you're doing. I don't care if someone's like when you live in London, it's just like, shop thief, don't care, probably a good person. This person, probably the right person. Whatever. Drunken disorderlies, good people. Mostly just passionate people, those, aren't they? And when people are loud and they're drunk, that's like, I have a person that's loud and drunk as a friend, and I think she's got a split personality. Like, starts shouting and bawling, and you're like, wow, fucking hell. She has no concept of what she's doing, I don't think. Or maybe she does. Maybe that's just, I don't know. But I don't take affront to it. I just go, she's got anxiety or there's something social anxiety, or there's some sort of thing that doesn't bother me. Other people get bothered. She got arrested for shouting and bawling, making her way home drunk, apparently shouting at firefighters. She said, they come to my house, please come to my house and arrested me. I said, that's weird, isn't it? She said, yeah, they must have followed me home. I was like, so women on their own drinking probably are massive, vulnerable. She's got an SIA badge as well. Must be the stress of the job. She's never done door work though. She's never worked with drunk people. And this is why I take such affront to the police, because it's all training, is don't piss off the drunk person, open palms. We know what a drunk person is. So G4S training, security license training, teaches you to all be like this, because I come from AEG, which is a 5-star quality company. I think they own stadiums in America. You go in the O2, and it is all sort of like, we want our customers to have the best time ever. It doesn't matter if they're in a drunk state or whatever. The prime program is have a good time. It's like, I was really good at just standing in between people, or going just be like, is it worth fucking going to, do you really want to spend the night in fucking Phil? They just look at me and be like, I was like, hey. So it's like that. And other people like to provoke it. And so when I left the O2, I couldn't work with my colleagues sometimes, because they were just like arseholes. Like to provoke, because that's the vulnerable adult. It really does show a character. These people, like, man goes out for a cigarette, can't come back in, so bad. I was like, huh? Yeah, I've left my coat and my phone and my things in there. Sorry, no more re-entry. You just let me go out for a cigarette. So they're just looking for that. And you're like, wow, what a way to make a job, make people's lives a misery. There are actually people on the planet that actually enjoy doing that. Mind-blowing, isn't it? People actually enjoy doing that shit. They enjoy doing it. But when I lost my job there, I went down to Nuki. I worked on a strip club door for a while with Kevin Ed Security. Kevin Ed Security. They're legendary in themselves. They sent the picture into the Sun newspaper, and I remember it when I was a kid. They said shark spotted off Nuki Bay. Great white shark spotted off Nuki Bay. And it was all over the Sun newspaper. And he goes, yeah, fucking idiots published it. It was taken in Hawaii or wherever he was. He was on holiday. And he took the picture and sent it in to the Sun. And they published it. We have a winner. Do you know what I mean? Kevin Ed Security, yeah. And that was funny because I lost my job because I went to a hen party, and then on the next day I was really hungover, and I asked this bloke basically if he could do the indoor shift for the first half hour, and he just ignored me and left me in there. And then when I went outside to do my outdoor shift, I was just sitting on the stairs. There's no one coming in or out. It's not like I had to stand there or whatever. But I was sitting there. He goes, if it all kicked off in there, you wouldn't have my back, would ya? I was like, huh? I stood up, and literally 2 seconds later, apparently it all kicked off in there. He started it, probably, as he does, just to prove a point. Tired, dishevelled and everything, comes out, walks out and goes, looks at me and just fucking walks down the road. I'm like, what the fuck was that? But anyway, the manager said, stand outside and make sure nobody comes in. So it wasn't like there's a radio and he says, come and help me. It was just like, well, it was like, stay outside, make sure nobody comes in, manager. I said, okay. And then he comes out, sort of pushes past me, wrote on my car, a big cock, cunt. I was like, nice. And then I turned up for work the next day and it was just like, what the fuck are you doing here? And I was like, I wasn't told not to. And then it was like, and then Kev said, yeah, I'm going to put you in Burger King now. Putting drunk people outside to eat their burgers in Newquay. Stand outside. You can buy your food and go and sit outside in Newquay. Yeah, it was good. I love Newquay. My famous friend that I was just chatting about there, Steph, she's going down there next weekend. Anybody from Newquay, make sure she has a good time. Yeah. So what was I saying? I don't know. There you go. When it comes to drunk people, that's how you're supposed to behave. But some people just can't help themselves. They're just like fuckwits. But it's like, I'm making light of it, but it's not okay. It's not okay to treat people that do drink so disrespectfully. And it's like, because it's an established drug that the whole country embraces, it's like the drunk citizen, oh, you don't like yourself because you're drinking, so we won't like you either. Get our mitts all over you, falsify CRBs, coming back from Venice. Like I say, I was drunk there because I was first in the queue because my app didn't work for Ryanair. I only paid like something stupid, 20 quid for the ticket, but ended up paying 50 quid at the airport going out because the app didn't work, so I couldn't book in early. And I was the first in the queue, and they still say, sorry, late booking. I said, I'm first in the line. I said, could you make sure it's on the system so coming back it won't be the same? Because I can't. And I did, and so I was first in the queue again at Venice, and they still charged me another 50 quid coming back, and I was proper poor, so I was a bit pissed off, and I did help myself to a beer from behind the counter at the airport. That's the last thing I remember. But we had a whole line to ourselves, so it wasn't like I was annoying people on the plane, because I would have just like free seats to myself, because it was COVID, innit? So, yeah, point being, that was then, and then when I was in Bournemouth, I was also drinking a little bit, but when I was in Bournemouth, I kept hearing the click, click, click thing on the phone. Right? Anybody know that little click, click, click phone? It's like you've been listening to. I said, bro, down here, I can hear this click, click, click on the phone. And just as my brothers come and pick me up off the beach, they turn up at exactly the same time and start trying to arrest me. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I said, get the fuck off me. Damn. And my brothers just stand there and go, let them arrest you, let them arrest you. I'm like, why the fuck? Why the fuck should I? And then you're in a cell going, what the fuck is this now? And they're like, didn't even sign me in the station down there, didn't even book me in the station professionally, didn't even stand and look at a sergeant or nothing. I mean, I don't know if they're just doing a lesson in everything that's inappropriate and everything that's just totally fucking unprofessional, just to sort of like say, does anybody give a fuck? Oh, this person's life might be endangered, we're basically flaunting all our rules all over it, don't give a fuck. There you go. It's like, it is LGBT hate in a uniform, systematic abuse. I don't know if I can just like communicate that enough. That is exactly what's happening. But nobody even gives a fuck. The law system don't give a fuck. So that's why you kick back. And this is what I'm saying, with a brand like mine, this is the implication that I'm covering everything. Because if this shit happens to someone, we're only just going to get the best in the fucking world on it. I'm going to throw all the money at it. All the money. Because the social worker franchisee using the internet is going to be making its own media content. The engineers that work with people are going to have a award program in itself. This is a media giant industrial thing. It can make like the TV awards, the music awards. It's a social thing, like success stories. There are massive success stories and shit on it. Like the person that helped the most apparent people. Because, let me start again, it will be covering the middle ground between BOOP and NHS. It will be paying for people. If you know, these get these stories where, oh, she's got cystic fibrosis, can't get treated in this country, but they do the treatment in New York. Well, then there you go, bosh. Not a case of we have to grovel and do fund me's and shit. You have a street presence, Air Force One on the street. Sorted. None of this poverty shit. Because, like the Western world, always begging off us for other countries, which are the richest countries, that could put in their own plumbing all over Africa at this point. The Germans, the French and the English have had a occupation there for since Victorian times beyond, yeah? Somalians hated the Jewish most on the planet at the time, probably funded World War II, vested interest, the world stage manipulated, nothing like you think it is by watching the Gogglebox. So it's just like the things that they don't teach in school. When you go to the library and read about Knights Templars since the 1300s all hooking up all over the banking systems, you sort of just get like sixth sense for the things that are real and not real in the world, and the level of fear that you should have for them. Understanding a massive part of history that isn't taught in your school. Well, people always talk about being woke, and I think this person here has been trying to make people woke from little bits of information and be like, that's what that is. And people talk about 9/11, right? That was a film set. That was a film set. That was the psychopathy in our Western culture. It's harder to accept that. Resume live. Yeah, that just went off then. It does that when I start talking deep stuff. Probably because you put it behind you. But the man that built the towers, his watch, 5 to 9, almost like posing, like this is what's going to occur at some point. Some people said it was the death of Christ age, because like it was literally to mark a monumental shift in, because they're all astrologists and there's like, not Illuminati, but let's face it, these Christian people, they're not really Christian, they are, but they believe in the astrology, because the Son of God is just the sun in some quarters, they believe, and it is all just universal worship, and it is all about manifestation. It's all about these things that they try to suppress, the occults and stuff. It's not that they're bad things, they're just working with nature and the universe and the nature of what life is. These people in higher positions have always had it probably, or been using and working with that knowledge. Esoteric used to be, but TikTok is TikTok, and everybody's all with it. But yeah, when I was young, before the 9/11, there was a person coming. He said they're going to try and take down the banking system. This person was coming in the pub. I was like, what? He goes, they're going to try and take down the banking system. I was like, okay, when was that? That was like 2000? Yeah, about 2000. And then, yeah, it happened. And then he bought in the cards with 2 burning towers on it and stuff. And I was like, fucking hell. So that's Freemasonry. That's Freemasonry. That's Masonic stuff. That's people knowing about this shit in quarters of society that is in the Western world. So you can't tell me shit. Can't tell me it's a fucking terrorist attack. Because, well, it was on homegrown soil with homegrown philosophies and people of the Western world involved. That film that just come out with Jodie Foster on Amazon Prime about the man, that wasn't really covered really massively, but he was basically tortured and boarded, and he was nothing to do with it. It was nothing to do with the 9/11 thing, but he said I did it because he was tortured to an inch of his life. Bring me back to the fact that in the Western world, one party non-consenting bondage, being held against your will, kidnapping, all these things, they're still within the USA and England. They're under the surface, they're there, but if they can treat me as whatever, it's like a big like, oh, you don't like culture the way it is. It's quite spiteful, sadistic. People are animalistic. They get more sexually frustrated. They're all in their little screens and they don't know how to behave. They're all scared of their own shadow. They're all looking at, this person is creepy. Oh, this person, we listen to the news. Oh, was that guy, not Britney Spears, fucking Taylor Swift and her arse grabbing. Oh my God, she had her arse grabbed. God, imagine if she lived in my life, living this skin in fucking city like London, mate. Fucking hell. And it's like, that's all over the news. We all preoccupy ourselves with that. Fucking hell. Please. That's just a big distraction from what's really going on in the world. And not one motherfucker covers anything. Charlie Veitch and his wife, who were massive, like, talking like I was back in the day. Oh, it's an inside job. 9/11. Those people, they were all over the festival fields in England. And then they paid Charlie Veitch, the BBC, paid Charlie Veitch to go over there and interview people, and they said, oh no, it is what it is. But they didn't actually, they booked all the people to be interviewed, not the ones talking about what it looked like to have a detonation thing underneath and the way the tower collapsed and how it looked like it was detonated from underneath, just to make sure it did go down the way it did. And all this stuff, they didn't interview those ones, so it's like he's bought out, I suppose. And then he was on his channel sort of saying, just get on with it. Basically, it's like acknowledging it but not acknowledging it. Just get on with it. But it should be a sign that you shouldn't really have any more wars. Like industrial, Greta trying to close down industrial, we'll fucking close down the weapons fucking base for the industrial side. Lead by example. Japan is a little island nation like the UK. UK didn't even have tasers. What a bunch of pussy holes, man. Using tasers. Pussy hole, pussy hole. It's like in the Japan, they just use martial arts, because with martial arts a certain level of discipline comes into it. Everything's a block and a defence in Tai Chi, which is the ultimate boxing. People underrate Tai Chi, but if you can learn discipline of Tai Chi, it's a 15-minute form meditation, and the idea is that every move is so ingrained in your psyche that the minute you're under attack it will be second nature. You won't even be thinking, because it will be literally, crane spreads wings, you're supposed to reverse every move as well, and it's like after 2 years you have to do with the Hein Institute. It's hilarious. There's a woman on here and she was talking about Tai Chi and they sort of go, oh, that's the Western version. It's like, no it fucking ain't. Hein Institute might have brought it over to the UK and everything, but it's perfect wisdom. It sits there talking about rubbing your hands together and the chi energy, and then working that up and then moving it around your body, because it is supposed to be like you're cleansing it as well, so it is a meditation. And you're trying to just protect your own bubble, because you won't attack anybody in Tai Chi. It's a discipline. So you can walk around justified in your self-mastery, because you're not going to attack anyone. And it should afford you a certain regality or a certain majesty, shouldn't it? But people like myself, people come from the Western world, good education and background, being persecuted by police. That's fucking... It's like, and people go, oh, like, I don't give a fuck if people don't like me. Really could not give a fuck, because I just sit here with ultimate wisdom at my core. Wisdom and a need for peace. Peace. Just be left alone mostly. And the irony was... Irony. Something funny going on with my world anyway, because why invest such money in, like, Western kids? Take them to primary school, give them all this, make sure that it's all mandatory. I hate the fucking word mandatory. Like I say, breaking down language to its most simple structures. Mandatory. What, I'm your territory? You're fucking some man's territory? Are any of you anybody man's territory? Should you be using that word so sparingly? No. No one's anybody's fucking mandatory. And when I was talking about shackles being loose, the idea of freedom is more than a word. There's a book that's called that. And freedom is more than a word. Now, like people like Will Smith's kids, they were sort of hinting at it when they're saying like alarm, like school bells. It's indoctrination into it's a cult. It's all a cult of thinking. Now, people say they like it the way it is, but they don't. The actual imbalance is ridiculous. Like I say, when it comes to the COVID storyline, it should just be your wake-up call. They'll say, let's change it all together. Because they can travel the world and that we can close down the world. And this Greta shit, come on, man. Please, Greta. And all this coal all hanging around her like dirty, smelly turds. Like, when you look at that picture, did it not give anybody else the creeps? I was just giving the creeps when I saw that. I'm like, look, this girl's good. Yeah, she's doing what she's doing. But look at all them creeps. Look at all them creeps hanging around her. Like, you fuckers, for the last 30, 40 years since I've been a kid, been ignoring all that shit. You've been fucking ignoring it. You've been just ignoring it. Climate change has always been there. You're just fucking ignoring it until someone sits there, a kid sits there, and then you go, Yeah, but it's like a dark water script. You see that film? You see that film? Teflon. Carried on doing everything, abusing all the society backhanders like an Evan Almighty script. So it's all like that. Society's like that. It's like, take your blinkers off. It's not pretty. I used to be the most rose-tinted motherfucker ever. And then it was like, oh my god, I was actually in hell that time. I didn't know that. Well, it's not hell. But if you're in hell, keep on going. That's a famous quote. If you're in hell, keep on going. Trying to make it for me. Trying to make it for me at the moment, currently. Bow date, let's see what happens. I just want my motherfucking phone back. I sent all these complaints to the IPPC. Sent them all over the place. I'm like 120 emails I sent out to Pop Casting, Casting Collective, Catnap Casting, all these casting agencies that I just done background work in. Like across the last decade. Like I did Pokemon, that was probably the biggest one that I did, just 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That didn't look too good because I had a can of ginger beer. This Indian bloke, he was acting like a manager that day, and I had just lost my family members. I was pretty upset, so I was a little bit drunk on whiskey. And he says, help yourself. That's all I did. And then I go on set, where did you get that from? And I said, what the fuck, man? It's 2 billion. How many billions have you spent on this film? You've taken over half of London, and then you're screaming at me for having a can of beer out, the ginger beer out the wrong tent. And then I got sent home. 900 quid that cost me, that ginger beer, because I was supposed to be there for another week. Yeah, that wasn't too clever. But, you know, shit happens. But anyway, yeah, I'm a bit terrified. I'm a little bit terrified. I feel like Afghanistan is funding my persecution or some shit. I really do. Like, this is fucked up. And it does make you feel like industry does cross over, because the Metropolitan Police are always on sets, like the BBC sets. And then you'll think, well, do the sets rent out the cells sometimes, just so you can have a little bit of fuckery? Because like I said, that DC, when I come back from Venice, was all like shifty in his seat, asking me questions. What phone did you have before this one? I was like, is he trying to date me or some shit? What is this? Strange question, isn't it, mate? What's that? What's that all about? And why did you send this letter? Humanity. She's got anxiety and shit. I thought she might appreciate it. It was so fucking retarded. It was so retarded. Yeah, and so in Bournemouth, no solicitor, duty solicitor for 24 hours. That's breaking the law again. And then you didn't even register me in there. You didn't take my fingerprints. And you didn't process me this time. So does that mean I was even there? Or is that a decoy? Can I just pretend I was never there then? If you're not following the fucking procedures, then I shouldn't, should I? Because if I followed the procedures and act like a good little girl, then you're just going to take the piss over my sovereignty. You know what I'm saying? Anybody got any advice on this? It's only been almost a year and they still haven't found her. What's that? What's happening? I am still waiting for them to catch and change the woman who assaulted me. Who's that? Assaulted me at work, knocked me unconscious and lots of jaw and face. Fucking hell, really? What job do you do? It's only been almost a year and they still haven't found her, but the way it happened. At a bank? You work at a bank? Where? What country? In the UK they have screens up now mostly. They don't in Qatar for some reason. But everywhere else they have a screen up, so nobody can do that. In banks. Makes me wonder why they have security in banks. I think it'd be nice if you could rob banks easier. Everybody getting in the Bitcoin. Yeah, so yeah, that's bad. It's horrible to be assaulted, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's quite, yeah, it can be, the first time, yeah, I think I was in shock. I got depressed quite quickly after that, yeah, for about, yeah, it was out of sorts, if you know what I mean, so I was so bubble wrapped, didn't think it would happen, you know, don't expect to be punched in the face, and then it's like, ow, yeah, don't expect it, do you? Don't expect it. I personally don't like physical confrontations, but I think people are thirsty for it somehow. I feel like they are actually thirsty for physical fracasses and shit, because they just are. Because like security are very provocative fuckers. But and you can think, why do you go to authoritative positions? Sometimes it is just like I think they all need therapy. It's like they got underlying issues and shit like that, you know. That's people in authority, because they just dive. You see all the videos, isn't it? It's the slightest hint of shit, and then it's like that. It's like fucking. Even like I know locks and stuff for security. Can't say I've had to use them because I think I'm just good with people. You know, do you want to be good with people? People are good with you, innit? At the end of the day, and like I say to these police, whatever. Like that's why they've gone to town on me, because my mouth is monumentally. Oh, you should see it when it's pissed off. Like when they arrested me uptown, 2016, I was just like, you're a bunch of, what the fuck are you getting off on? I was in pain for an hour and a half with a bag and a coat hanging down on my cuffs, cutting into my fucking wrists, and I told them, ouch, fucking hurts, fucking hurts. Hour and a half, just left it there. I was like, you're fucking depraved. Everything I'm about to say is inadmissible in a court of law because I'm under low-level torture right now. You perverted wankers, take down your trousers and have a wank. Take your fucking business to a sex club, you perverts, if you enjoy one-party non-consenting bondage. But then that's a role play, and it's not as good as the real thing, is it? Eh? Eh? Revelations! That's that. You know what I'm saying? It's not as good as the real thing, is it? It's alright having a girl play along and go, oh, take me out the cuffs, there's Mr. Shades of Grey shit. You know. But if you actually don't want to be there, and you just don't want to be there, and you don't want to be in their fucking cell, oh, there's some little pervy kicks, getting kicks out of it. Especially if you've got an online social media presence like my good self. I kind of like, and that is what it is. It's like this social media age has brought out the worst, probably, in the worst that is the worst. The worst that is, who are the worst? The police, the police. And there's like, there's a guy on here, what's his name? Man with a hair. And he does a little rapping about, do not demonise the police, blah, 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 blah. He's not seeing the big picture though, is he? Like, this is wake up time. Because people don't see the bigger picture. They see a presentation of a picture and they don't even understand nothing about it. Like I said, not as good as the real thing. People in a sex club acting out their little fucking whatevers are not one party non-consenting. And that's giving some people real little perverted little kicks, you know. And I'm not demonising all police, I'm saying there are nice people that come to the window and they generally have compassion in their eyes. And then there are doctors that come in and say that they are like hyenas and nobody's accountable because they're all just doing their jobs. But when you hear people just come up and they're like, I'm like, well, investigate the investigation. If it doesn't make sense, I haven't been processed down there, and they're looking at the paper going, that looks a bit shit. And it's like, what is she left on the system as? Why are you being heavy with me on a beachfront town? Why, when I handed in my bail sheet to that fucking place, did it say to protect someone? You're basically slander and defamation of character. This is what people don't understand about the system or systematic abusive construct that the police force can be. It can be an abused system. As an authority, I'm talking now. There ain't nobody like this in the public eye that talks openly about anything, is there? No, they don't. So it's like, you can leave somebody in the system to protect a vulnerable adult, child, you can put whatever you want down there. You hand that into a bail station in another part of town. DC doesn't turn up to the bail date, so you're left probably on the wanted system. I said that. I said, what the fuck are you arresting me for? They said, look, you're wanted by the Met Police. I said, that must be from last year. You are mistaken. You can apologise and let me out. No, they're coming to pick you up. Like I say, you're recklessly endangering my life in the back of a paddy wagon, getting smashed against fucking walls with no seatbelt. Thanks, you felonious bunch of arseholes on a wage. Felonious bunch of arseholes on a wage, all just doing their job because of a piece of paper left on a system, abuse in the system. This is why, also, I don't like COVID. Because I get around. I go to media conventions and stuff like that. Went to the Excel Centre, Apollo place, and just walk around and just talk, mince around, talk to people. And I was like, the importance of password sharing in industrial. Now let's talk about media industrial, right? But if you're password sharing, what does that implications of that have? Like hacking things or people just falsifying stuff? Because with the COVID, when it first came out, it was called Corona, right? And it was like little home test things are picking up Corona. Corona is a household germ that bleach kills and toilet duct kills. So it's a household germ, probably present a lot in a lot of things. Potentially up your nose and in your mouth if you got the flu. Or even if you haven't got the flu. Because people have no symptoms with this corona. You can have it. You can be on a cruise ship and then you're told you got it and you've got to leave a cruise ship that you paid for. And you feel perfectly well. It's the most hoaxy bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Just serving shyster industrial. People with interest in pharma. Big pharma. It's just a big industry. Just like cancer is a massive industry. Huge industry. And as I was saying at the beginning of TikTok, the implications of having a social worker franchisee that can cover the middle ground between Bupa and the NHS is very important because TikTok, we are the people. We got imagine a database with people that can actually just get the experts on it. You can fund the surgery for the first surgeries that are needed. You can start globalising, networking, just making the world the best place it possibly can be. Without, because what you got to remember about conglomerates, industrial or universities or anything like that, the minute they're established, they're self-serving, scratching their own back. And that is all they're interested in doing. Staying in their rigid structure, which is never natural in any state of play. The earth shifts, the earth is nature, people are nature, an industry or a university is a university and its structure is not fluid enough. It doesn't keep up. Innovators like Ravensbourne University College, I went there and done a short course and I don't think people can actually just sort of like grasp what I'm trying to implement in a person form as just a link, as a key worker out in the community. A key worker making its own media content that's going to shine a light on everything going on that's wrong, basically. From law cases like mine, that wouldn't be happening. It wouldn't be happening. You'd be straight on this. All the shit, the list is endless of like the wrongs they're doing me. Just fucking fund it. You're like, no, shine a light on this bullshit. We're not having it. Because I have faith in the fact that most people are good people. And they're all Christian people. And they're all this people and that people. And this isn't an egoic thing that I'm on. Not an egoic trip. I'm doing this as somebody that come from a massive working background. I used to put up satellite dishes for Sky. So used to intranets. And driving vans. And then I met all these squatters at a festival. And then they popped these buildings open. And then the buildings get taken by the Guardians, and then the Guardians make like bandits of them. They just like literally they make out like bandits of them. And you're like, there's an old guy with a dog. Can't he just get one of the rooms that they split the building up into about how many rooms they can get out of it, and then charge cheap rent? It's like give one of the rooms to one of them, and then maybe sell your own literature out of it. Pop squat history. So that's where it come about eventually. And I was like, well, that's homelessness. And then I was giving them loads of lifts in my car, Saab, and I was like taking them to another squat and that, and I was like, be good if you had a practical person around that could help this kind of movement of the people, because that squat had international squatters in it, Portugal, Spain, England, all staying in London squats and stuff, and it's like, and once I was aware of it, everything exploded around me, like I could see those squats everywhere. And it's crazy, like there's a guy that plays the piano called Hal, I met him at a festival, and he goes to like Glastonbury and he's in the stone circle and he plays and stuff. And he was in a squat, and then this bird from the bird's nest was in the same squat. And it's like this weird underground people that are linked into something, and all of a sudden I just met all of them. It was mad. It was like, I read the Celestine's prophecies when I was 14, and it was about finding your tribes and things. And I was like, said, oh, my tribe are dysfunctional that just mince around and bumble around and have random experiences. And so that's where I developed it from. And then since then it just kept getting bigger and bigger. Because I was like, well, yeah, the implications of it are big. And so I was trying to do a fundraiser on my, thanks for the likes, people. I can't see the comments because I've got it sitting in a drawer. Yeah, snow moon creations, I wanted fire. Tell me more, you know, tell me more. I'll get off this because it's a bit awkward. I can't do that yet. Yeah, so, yeah. That was good live, wasn't it? It was ages. Felt like talking. Not sure if I should go out today. London Pride weekend. Got on a boat on Friday, and there was drag queens on the boat. Looked like what is his name? It looked like Freddie Mercury with these massive Freddie Mercury beard, full beard, and huge knockers. And I got on, and I'd had a little bit of a tiff with my mum outside the Cuts Out pub, where horrible words were exchanged. Because when you're depressed, you say the worst things, horrible, and horrible things to say. And then I was like a bit pissed off, so I went into Tesco's and got 3 daiquiris, and then thought, cheer yourself up and get on a clipper boat. And I got on the boat, and I went to Greenwich, and then I got on the boat and thought, fuck it, go back. And then I thought, why not get on another boat, because there's music coming from it. I got on there, and I was presented with that. And the song that was going on was, when the feeling's gone and you can't go on, it's tragedy. Hard to bear, with no one to love you, you're going nowhere. And I was like, that cheered me up a bit. Yeah. And then Saturday was good. Was out yesterday. Probably overdid it. But I did want to go out. And I should go out. I think I'll go out. So have a nice Sunday. And if you want to see this live, I will try to attempt to download it and put it on my YouTube channel, Laura Rickner, or L'Ars de Dancier, where you can find all the best of my TikToks and my lives from TikToks. Thank you very much, believe me. It's good, this. It's good. You should hear the story at the start of it, the piece of work that come out of being in that cell. Because I literally wrote that chorus in the cell, memorised it. Going, tired of the negligence, and I was singing it in the cell. Tired of the disrespect, tied down to my soul. I think that theirs must belong to the man below. If they could treat the God-fearing soul. Singing it at the top of my lungs. And that was the only good thing to come out being in a cell, memorising that chorus. Thank you very much. Cali Cookers. Yeah, I've been on it for a while now. I just don't know how long. Can somebody have a battle with me as well at some point? That'd be good. Loads of people coming. Zara Rogers 8. Yeah, Zara. White flicks is a cutie. Yeah, so you can see this live over at Laura Rickner, L'Ars de Dancier. It's banging. It's probably the most wisdom-filled hour of your life if you listen back to this. Shit, man, it's getting you up to speed. Take on all this information, knowledge, especially if you're young, and you will be like, literally, I'm divine. This is communicated divineness, you know. Jade Buddha. My nickname at primary school used to be Chatterbox. And if you listen to this last lesson for 1 hour, it will be the biggest investment you can make in yourself for getting yourself ahead and out of the rat race, the cog mind, the indoctrinated cult society that has groomed your sense and sensibilities. It is only when you are fully enlightened you can actually offer something back to it. It's like going in a big circle. There is a song by somebody that goes, I go round in circles, not graceful, not like dancers, not neat, not like compass and pencil, more like a dog and lead going mental. Now that would be me. Because I call myself Lastly Dance, yeah. Because, make no mistake, I can dance. But my life has been like that. And I've had the blessings of all this work experience. I was a town centre warden, putting up satellite dishes, meeting these squatters. There aren't many people that can say that have that later claim. And to actually enrich yourself with it all those different demographics, coming from a family where they don't even smoke a doobie, or they're very square. Coming from that, and then going through all that, it was a trip. And I did all the hard work so you don't have to. And you can hear all my pearls of wisdom over at Laura Rickner or Lastly Dancier. Enjoy. Have a nice Sunday. It's a day of rest and tit.